Hey guys, those guys here. So I'm making this video for a YouTuber I watch. His name is rubysown. He makes Feed the Beast tutorials, videos, let's plays, that kind of thing. He's a pretty good YouTuber. If you don't know him, I suggest you go check it out because he's pretty great, and I enjoy watching his videos. So this is to help him out. He recently filmed a let's play episode on his server that he plays on, where he was making a sawmill with these things. He was making a building to kind of look like an actual lumber mill that would have those inside, and I was actually processing all that stuff. But he was kind of having trouble with the layout. So I thought, well, my dad owns a sawmill, so I can help him out with the design since I'm somewhat familiar. So here's my little layout. It's very rough. It's just to give you an idea of how it works. So let me just run by it. So this would be the office building. Now this just looks like a small wooden house, so not too fancy, just wood planks, wood house, or wood roof. And what this is the office building, and then this is where all the desks with the secretaries works, and then there'd be like a second floor, and then you get the the boss, the manager, the assistant manager, and the high-ranking position. But this is what runs the joint. If somebody calls in and says, I need 600 feet of 4x4s, or 6 stacks of spruce wood, if we're talking Minecraft, they would call, and then this place would pick it up. So this is where all the computers and things would be that are in charge of orders and things. And then over here, sorry, this is the lumber yard, and it's just this huge space, probably about 100 by 100 blocks. I'd say realistically, maybe 50 by 50. And then this is just where your piles of logs are. So for Ruby, if you're watching this, then you could just have piles of logs here for aesthetic purposes, just to kind of make it look like, oh, this is a lumberyard. And then this big gap, this is a road. So my dad's lumber mill is on two sides of a road, in case you're wondering. And then what this does is this would be optional, because this is a crane that would pick up the log and plop it on this conveyor belt here. So this is optional, if you want to use Tesseracts. And then this green thing outlines the mill, which is what where the logs go and get processed down into planks, or whatever, beams, whatever you're making. So what Ruby could do is, somewhere off you get your tree farm that cuts down the trees and puts the logs into an item tesseract. And then here, this is the conveyor belt, and in the mill, this conveyor belt, you put these huge 40-foot long trees on this conveyor belt, and then this 8-foot wide saw swings down and cuts the logs into much more manageable sizes. So you could have your item tesseract here that extracts the wood from your tree farm, wherever it is, and then actually this is a facade that hides your pipes and makes it look like makes it look like this is a log. And then here's your little saw that you've made, and then you can see your pipe actually goes into here, but it's all hidden. It looks like it's a log heading to this. And then inside this big green sawmill, you actually have your sawmills and all that, and you would do all your processing in here, because this is what this does. It's a sheet metal building. It's kind of green, green trees. This is where all the processing does. And then it heads back up here into this, if we pretend this is another conveyor belt, the wood would travel along here, and it's unsorted at this point, so it needs to get sorted. And then this is actually a bridge that goes over the road, and it goes over here. And then right about here, let's put this down for now. That would be like a computer that scans the piece of wood, and then these are bins you could have chests here or barrels full of each kind of wood, and then it would say, oh, this incoming thing is a spruce or is an oak log or an oak plank, I guess, because at this point they would be planks. So here comes an oak plank. Let's see, it needs to go in this bin here, so it automatically sorts it, and it's actually pretty cool in the real mill. It does this, but so this is your sorting mechanism. It's just these bins, and it goes on for about 200 feet, with different sizes, 3 foot long, 2x4s, 4 foot long, 4x4s, etc. And these are just getting weighted, or these are just sitting here waiting for the forklift or whatever to come and put them in these neat little piles like this, where it's all stacked up. And then behind the office is another huge lumber yard that's actually just full of these big piles of planks that are just awaiting shipment. So these are the finished products. But you just have these huge piles of planks here that are getting weighted, that are waiting to be shipped off to wherever. So that's pretty much it. All the other parts of it you wouldn't really need unless you wanted aesthetic purposes. Like over here, this is huge wooden shelter kind of thing. It's just 2 walls, and then both ends are open, and then that's just a thing that cuts the planks into smaller lengths. But you don't really need that in Minecraft, since there's nothing smaller than a block, unless you want to get into micro blocks, but that's hard to automate. So pretty much, but this is just a huge spot. And then let's get a pillar. I'll just use this, and then you can pretend this is like just a small block that spaces, and then there's more planks, just kind of like that, but there's just huge piles awaiting shipment, and that's pretty much it. And then if you wanted a shipping center, the shipping center is pretty much right here. It's just a small little shack thing, or this crane that then lifts up the big piles of planks and puts them on a semi truck. So if this is our crappy little semi truck, then there'd be a crane here, and it lifts up the planks and puts them on this. So this could be where they go, and then they go in item test racks and go wherever you're storing it. So I hope this helped. I'm sorry, it's not the best video, but at least you get an idea of how layout works. So you got your wooden house office, you got your big lumber yard, you got your conveyor belt and your mill with all your sawmill machines. You got your conveyor belt that takes the planks to the sorting thing, which is just a bunch of bins, and then you have your storage, and this would be another aesthetic thing. So aesthetic, and then actual delivery method thing. So yeah, I hope this helped. If you enjoyed this, please leave a rating and a like. It'd be much appreciated. Leave a comment saying what you liked. Subscribe, I guess. I don't really care. So I hope Ruby sees this. If he does, that's awesome. So I'm those guys. Thanks guys for watching. Bye.